in a position to even flower trick into that slot too. You know, at what cost when you know that there's an Arcanine waiting in Choppa's party as well. Our trainer.
Se não me engano, esse Dodó se terremoto. Mas não faz tanta diferença assim, porque o Gaganaco tem Wildguard. Ok, gata e Goldego contra baleia e gato. Baleia não, né? Peixe, né? Peixe gordo.
Yeah, well, that brings up, like, you know, maybe what you were talking about before. If you can force the Dondozo into a position where it is going to terastalize immediately, then does Chisok have options in the back to be able
Peixe terrorizado, chat. Ou peixe dragão.
Take on through this terastalization. You're also going to be able to deal better damage with the order up that we saw Choppa select as well, but Meowscarada is actually just going for a protect here to kick things off.
And the protect here really to try to, you know, not get KO'd or to get brought down to a focus.
Será que ele vai transformar o Dondozo turno 1?
Actually U-turns into Golden Go. So really nice pivoting there, recognizing hey, Meowscarada is not exactly the bulkiest.
Rapaz, ele vai comer a Tatsugiri turno 1, chat.
Tatsugiri, it is now on the field. Choppa recognizes this duo is just so strong. Why don't I just start the game off with it immediately? And here we go.
Yeah, I mean,
Tatsugiri devorada, chat.
Well, because of Meowscarada's natural speed, it is able to get that U-turn up before that Tatsugiri hits the field. And so we'll have to see how that's going to play a role as well, as the order up is going to start boosting attacks too, except for the fact that we do have the protect on the field. So Meowscarada is not going to be taking any damage, but Dondozo still gets the speed boost, which will be so important later on in the game. The Make It Rain, though, is still going to hurt. Look at how much damage it does to that Dondozo.
Yeah, one interesting thing to remember here is with Unaware on the Dondozo, the special...
Oh, ele tá usando o Chesto Resto. Por isso não tem leftovers. Oh, entre desse.
Utilizing that, but the Dondozo of course does have earthquakes, so you have to worry about that super effective damage, but I think Chisok honestly might not be too upset about that turn 1. You got a fair amount of damage off immediately. One other interesting thing is the Meowscarada.
Ok, é assim que ele passa da Gaganaco. Se o Dondozo tupar antes, ele vence o Gaganaco. Not bad. Flame Charge ainda ganha speed se acertar Protect, não, cara.
Sleep talk, so that's not even an option as well for if the Dondozo is asleep.
Crit ignora buff, sim. Buff do oponente e debuff seu.
So going to have a switch into the Tauros. So you do have that Intimidate drop, and also because it's an Aqua Breed, you're not going to be taking as much damage coming through from that Dondozo either if it does decide to go for something like a...
O problema de usar Dondozo pra aumentar a speed é que você fica insano de fraco contra Intimidate.
I really like the approach here, you know, like bring out Tauros for Intimidate. Look how little damage that did, right?
Very little.
Porque agora o Dondozo tá com mais 1 de ataque apenas, e ele não pode se boostar com o Other Up, e aumenta o speed.
Really smart here. We're going to see the Terra, and I think it makes so much sense to just Terra that Max Caliber, make sure you don't faint from an order up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it does give that speed boost, but even with all
Terra Awa Max Caliber,
Dondozo is really not in a position to be able to take a super effective attack from this Max Caliber very easily. Tauros going to go for a protect though, so just to keep itself safe for this turn in case something else was going to be heading its way. But the order up is actually going to go into the Tauros here. So, you know, Choppa trying to go for some of that damage, but despite that speed increase, this Icicle Spear is gonna hurt. Let's see how much it's able to do here.
Let's hit number 1, hit number 2, hit number 3. Hit number 4?
Yep.
Okay.
Alright, so it is actually going to be able to survive. That's pretty critical here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Será que mata? Se tivesse dado um crítico só, acho que mataria.
You're essentially stuck on the field once you combine forms, and so with Intimidate, you can actually get rid of those attack drops essentially. And with so many players now moving towards speed rather than attack for order up, you're really able to take advantage of the fact that it just can't deal that much damage after a single Intimidator too. So there's the switch from Chisok, and there's Ice Shard.
Oh, the survival there, so close.
Ah, eu acho que devia ter batido com esse Spears, cara. Era meio óbvio que a chat não ia matar. Mas no fim do dia não foi tão ruim assim que ele vai conseguir reciclar Intimidate de qualquer maneira.
So right away, Dondozo back up and ready to go. And I think it's time to start firing off some of those earthquakes before that Tauros starts to come back in.
Yeah,
just gotta get damage off.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, absolutely.
Eu realmente gostei da equipe do coreano, cara. Baxcalibur e Gaganaco não são duas coisas que a gente vê com tanta frequência assim. Principalmente o Baxcalibur.
No, I mean, you still have to do what you can, though. And at least you're stalling for enough time here that maybe PP comes into effect. I don't know. But order up, going back through into the Excalibur. That's such low damage now from the Intimidate drops that we've seen from this Tauros on the opposing side. And the Icicle Spear, it's gonna still be making those multiple hits without...
Chat, deixa eu ver se vocês são espertos. Por que é melhor bater com esse Quick Spear e não com o Glaive Rush nessa situação?
Yeah, gets 5 hits, brings it under half. I think one thing you can't help but wonder is if Chisok just went for the same play.
Deixa eu ver se meu chat é inteligente.
But the main thing here is I'm not sure Dondozo gets the knockout on a Excalibur, right? That order up did okay damage, but it looks like...
Tem mais chance de crit? Rapaz, vocês acertaram de fato. Eu achei que vocês iam errar de primeira. Ok, eu tô orgulhoso do meu chat, hein? O Mavrus foi o único que errou, cara. O Edim errou também, mas o Mavrus foi o primeiro que errou. Como as 5 Spears, garantidamente com o load dice bate 4 vezes e pode bater 5. E cada uma dessas hits pode ser critical hit, no fim do dia isso acaba sendo mais forte do que bater com o Glaive Rush, tá ligado? Porque se uma hit der crítica, você já causa mais dano. Por isso compensa bater com esse Quick Spear e não com o Glaive Rush.
So Dondozo getting knocked out, but you still have tons of other options here on the team.
Yeah, I think the main thing is that, Choppa's team is still fairly speedy. Tatsugiri is now going to come back out. That Tatsugiri has access to, moves like Icy Wind for support. You can use Icy Wind to drop the opposing speed, or you could just go for a safe.
Deu trabalho demais, mas infelizmente ele só causou dano e não matou ninguém. Se o Dodos tivesse pelo menos matado um Pokémon, eu diria que essa partida estaria ainda boa pro Chupa. Não tá ruim, entretanto, porque tá 4x3, ele causou muito dano no Excalibur. Mas o Tauros tá look nice aqui, tá ligado? O Tauros do Lee tá muito bom nessa partida ainda. Nesse jogo, qual a chance de crit? Eu acho que é de 4%, 4 ou 3%, alguma coisa assim. É mais de 3 e é menos de 5. Mas não lembro exatamente de quanto que é. Eu acho que é 3, alguma coisa. 3,16 ou 4,16, alguma coisa assim. É 4? Vou levar em você então.
Yeah, and exactly, like, this is where late game Tatsugiri is actually kind of nice, because with that choice scarf, you do just kind of guarantee outspeeding the opposing side.
3,14.
Like, don't discount a Drake.
A escolha do Scarlet fala a chance de crítica? Eu não sabia disso.
Knockoff coming out, and that is just going to get the knockout into Golden Go. And so, yeah, what's interesting here is that, like you mentioned, this is honestly a, I think, pretty tricky position for both players. I mean, Choppa having the speed advantage certainly helps a little bit. You do have to worry about the focus sash on the opposing Meowscarada, but that Meowscarada does not have access to, like, a U-turn. Ice Shard is just going to come out with some decent damage on a Meowscarada, but, does not get the KO. And Knockoff now will finish off Excalibur, so Chisok will be down to his final 2 Pokemon. I think a big question here is, where's Meowscarada targeting?
Meowscarada ends up targeting into the Golden Go. I think that's definitely going to be really good for Chisok, and that is a one-hit knockout. Great targeting there.
E pra cima do Golden Go foi bem melhor do que pra Meowscarada, porque o Tauros vence a Meowscarada atrás. E aí, Critis? Eu me pergunto se esse próximo turno é 50-50, porque tipo... Eu acho que o Tauros cai pra Draco e Knockoff, não? Tá certo que é Scarf e Tatsugiri. Scarf e Tatsugiri não bate tão forte. Eu não lembro quão bulky o Tauros é. Porque se o Tauros tancar Draco mais Knockoff, ele só mira na Meowscarada com o Tauros, e com a Meowscarada ele bate no Tatsugiri e vence o jogo. Mas eu não sei se o Tauros tanca isso. Draco mais Knockoff. Entretanto, deve ser double na gata. Ele vai praticar Protect no Tauros então, né? Mas, nossa, foi punido.
goes into the protect, and this is absolutely huge for Chisok right now.
Yeah, this is a huge turn for him as well. I mean, the knockoff.
É, se a gata cair desse turno, acabou a partida pro Chupa.
Free reign of whatever it wants to do here.
É, acabou.
Combat, targeting down Chupa's Meowscarada, and so that's another KO.
Agora fica a dúvida, Draco mais Nock matava o Tauros? Porque se matava, foi um 50-50 esse turno. E o Chupa perdeu 50-50. Eu vou dar Draco no Tauros, eu gostaria de ver o dano desse Draco. Matava de fato. Nossa, o boa read do Lee, então. É boa read do Lee. Matava de fato.
Moving first in this upcoming turn, and we're going to see Chisok Lee take this first game in the Grand Finals.
Eu falei isso desde as quartas, cara, que esse cara vai ser o campeão do torneio. O Lee tá jogando muito bem e a equipe dele é muito boa também, cara. E olha que eu acertei que a Argentina ia ser campeão do mundo, hein. Eu tô bom nas minhas apostas. Não, tipo, eu acho que Draco talvez não matasse se tivesse neutro, mas eu acho que Draco e Knockoff matava. Porque a gata é Bender. Eu acho que Double Target mataria.
Would you look at that? It looks like we got some similar Pokemon on both sides here to kick off Game 2 of this best of 3. Chisok does have that game advantage, so he needs one more win here to crown himself the regional champion in San Diego. And this feels like...
Tauros 76 de HP e sua defesa, acho que matava. Ah, então deveria matar mesmo.
Sides threaten each side with super effective damage, right? And so it's like, do you go for a Terra this early on just to make sure you survive an attack? For example, the knockoff from the opposing Meowscarada is looking really, really threatening. Chumpa does have that super effective U-turn, but Chisok has the focus sash on Meowscarada, right? And so Meowscarada is more or less guaranteed an attack off if it wants to actually move, but Chisok's saying, you know what, I'd actually rather conserve it right now and bringing in Tauros.
Eu acho que não vai ter Gaganaco na final, mas eu acho que o Lee vence. O Gaganaco não é muito bom contra esse set do Dondoso que o Chupa tá usando. Just to be able to help out some of that attack that could be coming out from a Make It Rain, but knockoff going to change Meowscarada's typing to the Dark type. It does keep Chisok's Golden Go quite safe here, but the Make It Rain coming. Eu acho que mata ainda, não mata? A gata? Não, não matou. Se matasse, ia ser tão bom pro Lee.
Get some damage there. There's the special attack drop. Now the Make It Rain from the opposing side. Now one of the interesting things we were talking about going into this is can you actually eliminate Tauros? Because once you do, then Dondozo and Tatsugiri, you know, has a lot more value. So the thing is though that the Tauros is decently easy to switch into this position. And so yeah, we see kind of a trade immediately here. And it's still, I'd say, a fairly neutral point. And, you know, by removing the...
Essa gata tem bulk? Não, é que o Golden Go tava... É que o Make It Rain Doubles perde a 25% do power, tá ligado? Quando tem dois Pokémons vivos e você dá um golpe de spread damage, o golpe é diminuído em 25% o dano. Por isso ela tancou.
A protect on the Golden Go from Chupa's side just to make sure that it's not going to be taking anything super effective here. Meowscarada goes for the knockoff. It does get the knockout here. So
se a gata tivesse ido no Tauros, o Dondoso ia ser bem chato nesse late game, hein?
Tauros going to do from Chisok? That is a wave crash now coming through.
Eu acho que o Lee errou a read aqui, hein?
Yeah, so this time around, like Dondozo Tatsugiri hasn't hit the field and Chisok is losing Pokemon, right? I think that's a really...
Mas o Chupa poderia ter matado também o Tauros, mas ao mesmo tempo isso ainda é bom pra ele. Que a gata tá viva ainda. Esse Terra turno não foi meio paia? Não, que ele fez isso pra tancar o knockoff da gata e causar dano nela.
The Meowscarada right now is locked into that knockoff, so it's not in a very good position. You know, you can't get rid of either the Focus Sash or Meowscarada. The opposing Tauros has a safety goggle, so removing the item there isn't that valuable. And so I like the idea of considering like a protect here, pivot Meowscarada out, get some repositioning. But of course, if you switch the Meowscarada out, well, there's the Dondozo or Tatsugiri in the back. You risk one of them.
Pera aí, o Golden Go já não deu protect? Vai dar... What?
the double and it just fails.
Yeah, doesn't get it. I mean, Masquerada is still going to be able to use the knockoff into Chisok's.
Ok, vai ser Dondoso e Tatsugiri contra o mundo, então. Que ele resolveu tentar o Double Protect.
Choppa's Golden Go. So both Golden Go are off the board, and now you're really looking at seeing how Choppa navigates around this position where he doesn't actually just have a choice left. That close combat coming in from Chisok's Tauros is going to finish up Masquerada as well. So it's just down to Choppa's final two.
Eu acho que não matar o Tauros vai ter custado pro Chup, hein, cara. Mas posso estar enganado. Dondoso é essa partida ainda, cara. Dondoso é insanamente forte, ele vence a partida ainda.
The team is so reliant on getting Dondozo Tatsugiri activated. If you switch one of those in, of course Chisok could predict that and just get the knockout. So Dondozo plus Tatsugiri is activated, but the Tauros is still around, right? And so Tauros of course can pivot out, come back in, get that Intimidate. But this time around, Choppa at least has knocked out a couple more Pokemon, has done more.
O Cybertron falou que tem como esse reciclar Intimidate, mas ao mesmo tempo não vai ser tão eficaz assim porque o Lee só tem 3 Pokémon, tá ligado? Então mesmo que ele receba Intimidate, tipo, não vai conseguir fazer por muito tempo. E o Lee não tem mais terraço pro Excalibur, então aqui eu acho que foi um F, cara. O terraço turno 1 do Lee vai custar a partida pra ele agora. Foi compreensível o terraço, mas vai custar. Ele não deveria ter dado terraço tão cedo. Porque agora ele não tem mais proteção contra o Dondozo. Eu acho que o Lee vai dar Protect no Excalibur e tirar o Tauros de campo, pra ter pelo menos um Intimidate. O Lee só vence essa partida se ele der Critical Hit com o Excalibur, eu diria. É, ele ia fazer isso, era super óbvio.
If he goes for the attack, that is the biggest read of this entire tournament. But he is going to play it safe here. Goes for the protect onto the Excalibur, and so the order up will hit its mark into the Masquerada on Chisok's side instead. So you do get that speed boost, and you get a pretty good knockout too. So it eliminates the ability now for Chisok to.
Sim, Order Up e Bossai Protect é meio quebrado de fato, cara, no meu ponto de vista.
Yep, exactly. And so Dondozo will be at +1 attack, and without the ability to actually Terra that Excalibur, Dondozo might just actually have enough resources to pull this one out. We'll see how much Order Up does at +1, whether or not that's enough to get the one-hit knockout. The thing is, even if you don't get the one-hit knockout, it might be okay, right? Because you have the rest combination, and so even if you take like 80% of your health, well, you can just heal all the way back up. So I'm wondering now, maybe a critical hit, especially from the Excalibur, is what I think could greatly change.
É, só crítico salvo ali, cara. Custou pra caramba ele ter dado terraço turno 1. Isso aí voltou pra morder ele agora. Não, o Lee só ganha com o crítico, cara. Então dá pra zicar o terceiro jogo. Só crítico salva o Lee. Nem crítico salva que é no hit kill.
Tauros on Chisok's side to see if he's able to close out the second game, but the speed boost coming through, the close combat into the Dondozo, just absolutely not enough.
É como eu falei, o terraço turno 1 do Golden Go foi uma play boa pra proteger de knockoff, só que foi uma play que não foi pensada a longo prazo. Porque no fim do dia, usar o terraço turno 1 fez ele perder pro Dondozo.
So much harder for the Excalibur to actually survive this endgame. And so this time around, you might have to make some adjustments so that you don't feel forced to do that just to respond.
Maybe you take a coin flip as well if you're.
Jogo 3, chat. Gato e Golden Go contra Gato e Golden Go. E rapaz, Spider-Man meme. Qual que foi o melhor elite aqui, chat? Masquerada e Golden Go ou Masquerada e Golden Go? Pior que esse Elite Matchup é melhor pro Lee, porque a gata do Lee é Sash. Enquanto a gata do Chupa é Bench.
the opposing Masquerade only has grass and dark type attacks. So from Chupa's perspective, it's really safe to just launch that knockoff into the Golden Go slot and saying, okay, well, even if you don't...
Só que no fim do dia, quem vencer esse speed tile ao fazer o read correto vence a partida. Não vence a partida, mas vence o primeiro turno. Se for o Lee que deu Terra, ele tem que tomar cuidado, cara. E foi o Lee mesmo, ok. Ele perdeu esse speed tile de novo.
But Masquerade able to knock off in return, calls it. Chupa was going for an attack with that Golden Go, but now it doesn't get a chance to move.
Wait a minute, that might have been really greedy. Make it ring now.
Bom, mas a situação tá 4x1 agora, né? É, a situação tá 4x1. Dondosa é forte, mas ele consegue fazer 4x1? Não consegue porque o Tauros tá vivo ainda. É, eu acho que o Lee consegue vencer agora. É, o Lee consegue vencer agora, nice. Ele não tem mais Terastal pro Excalibur, mas ele tem Intimidate pra reciclar agora. Entretanto, o Chopa ainda consegue vencer se ele der crítico no Excalibur. Porque eu acho que o Dodós consegue stalear o resto da equipe. Na verdade não, eu acho que tem que stalear... Eu acho que tem que stalear a Mascarada também, né? E a Mascarada tem crítico, é mais difícil. Aliás, é bem melhor da knockoff e da Intimidate, né? Que você tira a Chestoberry. Então acho que a gente já acabou essa partida. O Chupo vai ter que ter muita sorte pra vencer esse jogo, cara.
It would be a completely different game, I think, if Golden Go just opted for the Protector, but Chupa trying to play really aggressively and gets punished really heavily. He has a huge uphill battle up in front of him.
Se eu fosse o Chopa, eu teria dado Order Up no slot do Golden Go pra tentar um crítico no Tauros. Porque se você der crítico no Tauros, você basicamente tem uma grande chance de vencer a partida. Mas ele deu Earthquake, né? É, eu acho que devia ter dado Order Up no Golden Go. Pra pegar o Tauros na troca. Mas não ia dar crítica, então tanto faz. Eu só não entendi o Flower Trick não, knockoff da gata.
We're expecting Aaron, the Tauros goes out, the Golden Go comes in, and I don't think Chisak is feeling too bad about this, especially when he goes for a protect.
Ah, tá de sacanagem, mano.
Yeah, one thing that's actually pretty interesting here is that you saw previously the Dondozo was actually slower than the Meowscarada, and that's one of the things. Dondozo and the speed boost came up now, so I think the last two turns playing correctly, that's how Chupa kind of wants things to go out. Here's the Earthquake, so we're going to see the first knockout as Golden Go is going to faint.
Yep, Golden Go should get knocked out here.
Não, eu acho que é a minha internet, cara. Eu acho que não é a conexão, não. Eu acho que não é a... Eu acho que não é a Pokémon Company, não. Minha internet tá trolando mesmo. Eu não entendi porque não fez isso no turno 1. Não deu knockoff direto.
Okay, Excalibur has hit the field. Now, of course, you could just pivot out the Meowscarada, go out into Tauros, bring the Dondozo essentially down to neutral, and I think you could play it safe here, right? Protect the Excalibur, for example, and cycle in a third Intimidate later on to continuously decrease Dondozo's attack. Make sure that you just don't feign to an order up at all, because I think right now the key win condition essentially is, for Chupa, can I just eliminate Excalibur before it gets an Icicle Spear off? So there's the switch.
Yep. Tauros now gonna get an Intimidate drop, and at this point too, at least for Chupa, you know that there's no Terra available on Chisak's side, so you're not going to see that Excalibur this time around. You did see the Golden Go use it before. So
se levar a crítica aqui vai ser ruim, hein? Ah, não deu crítica, ok. Deu bom.
Look at those Intimidate drops being so important here for Chisak, and now the Glaive Rush coming through into the Dondozo. It's still going to be able to hang on, but just barely. Can't go for the rest here either.
Yeah.
You won't wake up.
You can rest, but then you're just stuck to sleep. So there's Ice Shard here, and we saw how much it did previously. Dondozo is now eliminated.
E agora Tatsugiri vai entrar em campo levando Close Combat. E eu acho que esse Close Combat mata. Eu acho que acabou a partida, hein? Não matou, mas acabou o jogo. A Shard mata. Aí eu falei que o Lee ia ser campeão, cara. A equipe desse cara tá muito da hora, velho.
I mean, an Ice Shard here would do it, coming out for the
Acertei mais uma, chat. Acertei a Argentina e acertei o Lin. Gaganaco win, o Gaganaco nem entrou em campo, cara.